Hello everybody, welcome to Kentucky Farms Mapping. Today we are back on Frog Creek Farms. We're going to take a look at Farm 1, do a little testing on that, and we're also going to take a look at a little bit of editing in Giants Editor, fix a little problem with the landscaping, and see what happens when we do that. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. First thing we're going to do is take a look at a little spot that we have in a field across the way here. There's like a little divot, and we're going to take it into Giants Editor and fix it, and then we're going to come back and see what happens when we open the map back up. And there's the spot right there. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's going to look a little bit different when we get into Giants Editor, but we're going to get out of here, open it up in there, smooth it out, and then get back into the game. So we're in Giants Editor, and we have the map open, and we know that somewhere in here is where that little divot was. It's kind of hard to see. We can zoom down a little bit and take a look, but it's still not really clear which one of these areas it is. One of the things that can help a little bit is if we click on the sun over here in the scene graph and we go to translate, we can get an idea from either translating it or rotating the sun, maybe get us some shadows in here so we can actually see just which one of these little areas has that little divot in it. So we're kind of moving it around a little bit, just doing a rotate. It's kind of a random thing. We're doing the X, Y, and Z rotate and see if it will highlight that area. We'll kind of jump down a little bit more here, take a look a little bit more from the ground level. Rotate this in the Z direction a little bit more. I don't see anything yet. In this particular case, it's probably not that big a deal, but you may run into an instance at some point where you have to be really specific with what you're editing. And in that case, this may come in a little bit more handy. I'm kind of having a little trouble finding it here. Not able to see it much at all. There's a little bit of it there. Kind of looks like it's in this area right here. So I don't know if you can see it very well in the video, but I can kind of pick it out a little bit here on the screen. So the point is, you may be able to come in and adjust your sun a little bit, adjust the shadows, so you can see things a little bit better. We're going to brighten it back up a little bit here. And we're going to go ahead and select the terrain sculpt mode. Have our brush settings over here. Our middle mouse button is set to smooth. We've got the radius of the brush at 3.2. We have a round brush here. We can increase that brush level a little bit. You can also do that by rolling your middle mouse wheel. We're going to crank up the opacity and the hardness and the value just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and just run this over the area. If you're not familiar with editing in Giants Editor, it's a little bit different than editing in-game. When you're editing in Giants Editor and you're trying to smooth things, you actually have to move your mouse around. Whereas in Giants Editor, you can just hover over something and hold your mouse button down, and it will allow you to smooth things out or raise or lower the terrain or whatever you want to do just by standing and sitting in one place. You're not able to do that in Giants Editor. We're going to go ahead and kind of smooth all of this out, make sure that we get this area. I believe that's it right there. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see things in Giants Editor a little bit. So we'll increase our brush and just run over this real quick and smooth it out. We don't want to flatten things out. You know, that's not the purpose of what we're doing. We just want to make sure that we smooth it real well. So now that that's done, we'll go ahead and save the map, and then we'll get back into the game and see what it looks like in there. Okay, we're back into the game, and as you can see, nothing happened. Okay, and that reason for that is because when you edit something in Giants Editor that deals with the terrain, it doesn't show up in your save game. So any editing that you do like that requires a new game save. Now, of course, if you're doing just a gameplay and you have your map and you run across something like this, all you have to do is go into the landscaping, okay, select the smooth tool, smooth it out, okay? You can raise it up, you can flatten it, you can smooth it out, whatever you need to do in order to fix that. You can make your brush larger, okay, smooth out the area, make it flatter in there, okay? And that'll just take care of it in the map. But if you're creating a map that you're going to distribute, you'd want to go into Giants Editor and fix things like that before you distribute it, because if you don't, then it's going to require a game save if you update the map. Any type of editing you do in terrain like that. Okay, and then later on in the series, we'll kind of discuss how you can create a new game save and sort of minimize some of the things that you would lose if you started out from scratch. Okay, so we've taken care of that part. Next thing we're going to do is head back to Farm 1 and take a look at what's around there and do a little bit of testing on it. Okay, we're back on Farm 1, and we're going to take a look around here a little bit. I mentioned before that the sheds and things in here may just be a placeholder. I do have permission from DJ Modding to use these on a private map. If we release this publicly, I will make sure that I contact him again to see if it's okay to use them on a public map. I'm sure it will be. He said, you know, before, as long as I gave him credit for it, there wasn't any problem with it. So there's a couple of these that actually are from DJ Modding's maps, and there's also a couple of these on here that are from MRG's, and I do have permission from MRG to use his stuff too. Okay, so if the map is released, it will basically be with just the sheds on it that are here. There's some other mods that I've added in this area down in here. And we've added an area right now where the bulls are. We'll call it the bull barn. In the bull barn, we have bulls, which are going to be out in the pasture at a different time of year. Right now, it's November 1st on the map, so the bulls are in the barn here. Okay, we have 6 bulls, I believe. Okay, this is the realistic animal mod that we have. So there's 6 bulls that are in here. Normally, in real life, at least when I was raising cattle, we would let the bulls out usually around the 10th of June. Okay, and then calves would start coming around March 19th. You know, the bulls would take the bulls and take them out of the pasture sometime around the end of October, the 1st November, somewhere in that area. Okay, sometimes there were a couple years that we left them out longer. We just kind of like to have them up in the pen. In this area in the front pasture, there's 120 cows in here. Again, what I've done with this is I've taken the open cow pasture from Elk Mountain Modding and just created a custom navigation mesh for it. And the nav mesh goes all the way back here into this area. Okay, and then back here on the other side of this, there's a second pasture back here. Again, same thing. I used the Elk Mountain open cow pasture and created a custom nav mesh for back here. The reason there's no cows back here, in real life, normally you'll have a couple of pastures, 2 or 3 pastures for your cows, and then they get rotated from year to year. one of the reasons that these cows are up here in this pasture this time of year is it's going to start snowing soon, and it's a lot easier to feed them when they're up closer to the barn instead of trying to get all the way to the back pasture to feed the cattle. So just kind of a little in real life type of gameplay there. And in this area here is where the calves are located, the feeder calves. Again, there's about 100 feeder calves in here. They're young calves at this time of year. The thing about this mod, the real mod for animals, is they don't have steers. They have baby bulls and they have baby heifers, but there are no steers that are 18 months old. So there's bull calves and heifer calves in here right now. There's a couple more buildings that I've added that I really like the position where they are. I kind of chose in this particular gameplay, instead of using silos or bunkers, just use the silage bags, and it seems to work out really well. This is a pretty good area to mix feed, kind of in the middle of everything, and you know, it works for distributing feed around. I don't know, after looking at this, that there's much I would change about this farm. I really like the layout of it. I like the bins that are here. When I designed this farm, I set it up to where it would be pretty easy to get an auger to each one of the bins. The thing now is that there's a new mod that has just come out by BC Bueller. It's the drive over auger, which is really nice. We're going to take a look at that here. I don't have one purchased yet. Okay, we're going to set our shop up right here just so it's easy for it to have it delivered, easy for us to get it. Okay, so we go into our tools and belt systems and the SA30 drive over conveyor. Okay, it's the Soaring Eagle. Okay, there's no options for it. We'll just go ahead and buy it and hit yes and okay. Head back, and this is what it looks like. I haven't set one of these up yet, but it looks like it's pretty easy to set up. So we'll just run in here and grab us a tractor and set it up. Okay, we have our auger set up to the corn dryer, and we're just going to back this drive over right up to here. Okay, unhook it, pull tractor out of the way. The tractor will need to attach to the other auger here, so hopefully we've given ourselves enough room. There we go. Get up just a little bit, get it lined back up. There we are. Okay, jump off of here. Jump into the drive over auger. There we go. And unfold it. Okay, when you unfold it, it'll drop down the auger, or drop down the drive over portion of it right here. Okay, then it should be set up and ready to go. That'll be it for this video. On the next video, we'll be taking a look at combining some corn, baling some corn stalks, seeing what we can do with those corn stalks after we bale them, maybe taking a look at some beans and bean stalks and some things like that. Just checking out the crops overall on this farm. Also, I'll show you how you can crash the game. Okay, so thanks for taking your time out to watch. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.